Okay kids, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to finish the wiring on the new building. We're going to pull the wire from the panel inside the basement in the house through the finished ceiling, through the conduit underground, and stub it up into the building. We're going to install a junction box where the wires from inside the building are going to the junction box. We're going to splice everything together and get power out to this building. So I start this video halfway through the project. We already have all the wire pulled to the outside junction box. What we're doing here is we're going to suck the pull string through the conduit. So at the other end is a shop vac. This is just a regular shopping bag. I have it attached to the pull string, and we're going to turn the shop vac on, and hopefully it sucks it through the conduit. It's as simple as that. There must have been some debris in the conduit, because it did take a while. It would only go so far and get stuck. But I just kept moving it back and forth, actually like I was fishing. And eventually it took off and it went right into the shop vac. Now remember, we're about, I don't know, 80, 90 feet that we're going through, and this is 1.5-inch conduit. So I don't know how far that shop vac would have pulled this, but give it a try. What the heck. This did take a lot longer than I thought it would. There must have been a lot of crap in there, but I bet it took us about an hour messing around, then we finally got it to work. Okay, I got to give you an explanation here. So this is the junction box coming out of the house. So the wire on the right is for the hot tub, and that's what that right conduit's going to. So that left conduit, that was supposed to be what I'm running this wire through. Well, that junction box is way too small. By the time I pulled the 6 wires out, I couldn't feed them into the conduit I needed to. So keep watching. You'll see how I solved the problem. It's a little hokey, but it works. Well, here's the solution. I installed this conduit body. I know it's not pretty, but that's the best I could do. You see I have liquid tight there on the left, because I cut the conduit, and I have all the wires pulled out and threaded through the conduit body and then into the conduit heading out to the new building. So now it's time to pull the wire. This was really easy. I can't believe how easy it was. So I was over at the building and I was pulling, and Paul was just pushing the wire, and it went through really smooth. This was the easiest part so far. Sorry I really didn't get a video of it. You know, again, I have to apologize. When you have help, you just can't be messing around with the cameras. So you see I have the conduit run up the side of the building. I have the conduit body installed. I had to drill a hole into the building. That killed me to do that. Threaded the wire up through the conduit. We glued it all together. And you see here, I'm threading the wire into the building. Paul is in the building pulling the wire in, and then we're going to go in. You'll see where I'm going to install the junction box that is inside the building. So at this point, I have the wire run through the side of the building, a piece of conduit going through the building. I have this conduit body installed. What's going to happen next is I'm going to have to install the junction box. Once I get the junction box located, then I can run the rest of the conduit up to that conduit body. Alright guys, now what we got to do is put together the junction box. So I got to put this, see the junction box has knockouts in it, most boxes do. This will go in here, it'll get attached with one of these things, and then on the side here I'm going to have this. So the wires, so it'll come like this, conduit will come down, go inside here, the wires will go in here, my Romex will go through here, I'll put it together, and then I'll have my junction. So in order to punch out these knockouts, you just knock them out, right? Use a screwdriver or a chisel, and then once you do that, you grab a pair of pliers and you twist it, and it'll come right out. So next I'm going to put in the PVC bushing. It just throws in and then you thread it in place. No brainer. The process is the same for the Romex connector, but just remember, select the correct size knockout. So the Romex connector is a little smaller, so you don't want to knock out the big hole, then the Romex connector won't work. It's common sense, guys. Use your brain. The last thing I have to do to this thing is I have to drill some holes in the bottom of it because I need a way to attach it to the 2x4 in the building. Alright, let's get this thing installed. Now I have the 2x4 installed and I just selected a height. It's whatever height you want. Now what I'm going to do is cut the conduit to the correct length. You saw I just kind of eyeballed it there. And thread the wire through and glue it together. Next, I install a couple screws to keep the box from moving, and there you have it, the junction box installed. Now let's get the Romex run into the box. I did forget one thing. Before we can run the Romex, we have to drill some holes into that 2x4. The Romex will come up through the 2x4, make a left, and go right into the junction box. Make sure you drill a hole big enough to get both of your Romex cables through. Just thread it up through, and then I thread it into the junction box. It's pretty simple, like I've been saying the whole time. Okay, kids, this is the part where I tell you, don't do this yourself. Hire a licensed electrician. So what we're doing here is we're connecting everything together. So I have the wires that pulled from the house to the junction box, and then I have the Romex going to the junction box. I'm connecting stranded wire to solid wire. You can do this is per code. Just make sure that the stranded wire sticks above the solid wire just a little bit. You see how that popped out? You don't want that. And just put the wire nut on it. See, the tricky part here is keeping all the wires straight. So what do I have in there? 12 wires total in 2 circuits. Alright guys, I'm in some real tight quarters here, so I don't think I'm going to be able to video what I'm doing, but here, these 3 are the 10, this is the 12. I'm going to feed it down through, I already hit the knockout. I'll feed it down through, and one side will be my 20 amp breaker, the other side will be my 15. When what I'll do is I'll feed things through. Over here, this is the neutral, that's where the whites are going to go, and you see where the grounds are, hopefully. And then of course black will go to the breaker. What I'll do is I'll try to bring you in and out. I am not powering down, so it is hot. You see the red and the black up there. The lugs are hot. This down here, that is hot. So don't touch anything. Well, if you guys are doing it, hire someone. So I'm going to bring you in as I work my way through. All right. So here's my 10 gauge, which will be 20 amp. Here's my 12, which will be my 15. Okay guys, I got the 20 amp circuit wired up. Here's the black wire. It is a little long, but it's tucked up over here, so it's kind of out of the way. Here's the ground, and then here's the neutral, and there's enough slack where I can zip tie it out of the way. So now let's flip the breaker, and if I did something wrong, this should kick, I would think, but I'm not going to walk over and check it yet. Let's flip it. Okay, it didn't break. I didn't hear a big gaboom in the side yard, so now let's do the lighting circuit. Okay, I got the 15 amp wired. There's the black. There's the white. And the ground is this one here. Okay? Doesn't look bad. I'm going to probably get some zip ties and tie that up a little bit, but I don't think it looks bad. So let's hit this. Let's see what happens. Okay, it didn't trip. Let's head out to the building and see what's going on. Now remember, I left the lights on. So when we open this door, if the lights are on, we did something good. Oh, look at that. All right. Beautiful. Here, let's check it. Off, on. All right. So let's go check the radio. Let's see what song's playing today. Let's turn this thing on. All right. So now we'll get this buttoned up real quick. Then we'll go back downstairs and we'll get the cover on the panel. Well, there you have it. I got the conduit buttoned up. Put the cover on the junction box, labeled that. Put the cover on the sub panel, I labeled that. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.